When we think about things like drought or flood, we often are caught up in the moment of the crisis and we start doing our planning at that stage. I think the best time for planning for any disaster or any potential problem, which are realities of farming today, are in the periods when things are actually travelling quite well. Similarly, when we talk about things like business planning, we shouldn't be talking about things like business planning when things are at their tougher moments in the business cycle. The Dairy Business Support Program gives us the opportunity to go out and talk about aspects of business planning with farms during times where there may be a little less pressure on the farm and the operation, to really sit back and say, okay, we're doing all right now, things are travelling reasonably well, but there's a big future ahead of us and there's lots of people here involved. We need to be spending time to look at what are our opportunities moving forward, what are our threats, what are our challenges, where do we take this business in the future? And a thorough planning process is a very important part of that. My name is Neil Moss. I'm a veterinarian and an agricultural consultant. I'm lucky enough to live in the beautiful town of Kiama. Our business is based in Camden and I work with dairy farms all over New South Wales and beyond. Dairy businesses generally are still predominantly family farms. And critically, families, as we all know, are very complex. There can be many generations involved. We've worked with some farms, so there can be 3 generations at least involved on the farm at any one time. The Dairy Business Support Service gives us the opportunity to bring all people in the family together, sit around the table, bring up the issues that are problematic, look at the opportunities, think about what might be happening in future generations, and ultimately bring that all together and start making plans for that whole business to move forward on. The conversation can be a little bit difficult at first, and often it's a matter of people just starting to feel a bit more relaxed about what's coming out. And it's quite fascinating when we're talking with our farmers, when the penny starts to drop, when suddenly ideas start to come out, when suddenly someone has been having thoughts they've kept to themselves for many, many months, is given an opportunity to bring that out into a forum where everyone's actually in a relaxed space, where they're actually in a position to where they can actually listen. Starting moving from the doubting or the reasons why things can't be done to say, well, okay, here's our challenge, here's our opportunity, here's where we need to head, here are the things that we can actually do to maybe make it happen, and this is how we can get it done. Look, the program has been very diverse in what it's been able to allow people to discuss and go through. Common things have just been the basics of going through, making sure our chart of accounts are in good place, making sure that the business is operating under sound principles. But we've also looked at opportunities for new people to come into the business, for businesses to make a transition from being managed to potentially being leased, or looking at opportunities like share farming. We've looked at things like facilities design, where businesses need to go to adapt to a changing climate, a changing environment, a changing land value space. Are there opportunities to maybe look at purchasing land next door? What do we need to do to make that a reality? Does the business need to change? Does it need to intensify? Are there opportunities to consolidate? We've also looked at opportunities for where farms can potentially reduce debt, maybe offload non-performing areas of land or asset, allow that to bring capital back into the business, to look at other projects, or maybe just take a little bit of pressure off. So how do we get involved in DBSS? The first thing to do is get in contact with your regional extension officer for Dairy New South Wales. They'll then put you in contact with a consultant or give you a choice of people that you may want to work with. And from then on, it's a matter of building up time that's mutually appropriate for both you and the advisor to come in on farm and spend a little bit of time away from the paddock, around the table, and just get out on the table what's important to you and the family as we move forward.